For a little minute, I've been hearing death doula, so I did my research. So I was like, that's why confirmation. That's why I dream about certain individuals before they transition. So imagine, I say between 4 to 6 year old me. If I can find a picture, It was a tornado one. We were guided to evacuate, and back then we go to churches or somebody's house. That in this case, we went to a church, and when I was in the church, my mother, it was a lot of people, but my grandmother woke me up. What I thought. She woke me up, and I believe I spoke about it, but I didn't go into detail of what the dream was about. Really a vision. She woke me up, and I could see everybody still asleep around me. And she was like, come on, I gotta show you something. As I'm stepping over people, it was real bright, but it got dim as I got closer to my grandmother. But it was somebody else in the room, and it was a big door that was real bright, different kind of colors coming out of it. I say it's a portal. Now looking back at it. But it was another individual there, and I seen some of the face, but I couldn't really tell if it was a male or a female. I knew they was carbonated, and their hair was like maybe about right here, curly, brown, maybe a brownish reddish looking, and they had like what I would call where I would see like monks wear. And they told me that eventually, remind you, I was between 4. Eventually, my grandmother was going to transition. And I was going to see everything I needed to see that I was refusing to see through different individuals around me, including her. So you can imagine waking up from that, scared, not knowing young me. And my grandma explained to me that she is okay. But in that dream, I seen my grandma go through the portal. And the individual that I would call, I'm quite sure is creator of all, God, Jesus, whomever you deem your highest source. I'm with the highest. And creator told me if I wanted to go through that portal with them as a 4-year-old, between maybe 4 or 5, 6. If I wanted to go through that door too, I had to make some changes, especially the people I allow around me. Of course, when I woke up from that dream, Grandma told me it's okay, I'm still here. Eventually people, they pass on, but I'm still here. I got you. So that was early 90s. I know I didn't even pause the fucking. It had to be early 90s, but I'm pausing again because so growing up, I've seen a lot, and I can actually see different spirits jumping from body to body. And young me couldn't talk about that because it scared certain people. And when I tell them, like, hey, I just seen something jump into you, and adults looking at me like, ooh, what the fuck? And they're getting scared. And it was a point I had to be sat down by creating. Like, some people are not ready for you to talk to them like that because they're still kind of blinded by society. So how they came and got me was the weirdest experience that I've never talked about before, but I'm gonna get into now. We stayed next to a railroad station, not a station, but railroad tracks. I say it was good, maybe 20 feet from the trailer that we stayed in, and the trailer was behind the Hilltop Motel. Our creator told me I was coming out the bathroom and I heard the train first. I could feel the train vibrating through the trailer. And I was like, okay, it's normal. I always see the train. But where my mom's room was, there's no way the train lights came through. Where the position of the trailer, you can't see those train lights. You gonna feel it and gonna hear it, but it's way off in the distance. It felt like the train was coming directly and you could see the lights. I say it was a portal because it was a big bright light. It was a big bright orb, and I can see myself over myself floating out of my body. This is maybe a little after I had that vision of great creator coming to me during the storm and telling me my grandmother was about to, and she was still living. And now, when they took me, I don't remember anything, but I had to be quiet. Certain people aren't ready for my knowledge. And just observe and move accordingly. And they told me not to pay attention in school. If they came to me while I was in school, listen to them. Now I had to be around 7 at this time, 6 or 7. And I was like, okay. Y'all told me to get right. Even though physically y'all telling me everything's okay, I know what creator came and told me in a vision and showed me my grandma going through that portal, but I couldn't go until I got my shit together, basically. And I came back down and I tried to tell my mom because I seen her laying on the bed. I seen me still standing in that same spot. I came back into my body. Do not remember how I got into the bed, but the next day I remember telling, hey, this happened. And adults brushed it off, so I followed the guidance. I went to school. Once they started talking to me, okay. For real. 7-year-old me now. Fast forward, because a lot happened between then and now, but we're speaking about the vision of me seeing my grandmother. Fast forward, I say 2008, when she had her last stroke, and it paralyzed one side of her whole. I don't want to get too deep in that story right now, so we're going to fast forward a little bit. 2015, I had the dream that she was about to pass over. I tried to brush it off. Like, nah, she gonna be able to see. In the dream, I see her take her last breath. I was like, but it was her time. It really wasn't, but it was. And I had to let her go so she can really help me in the spirit. So it's as hard as it was. They was wanting to put her, well, how it happened, she collapsed. And we'll get deeper in that because it was more unnecessary fuck shit. But they wanted to put her in the hospice, and I was like, no, bring her back to the house. So basically, I watched her take her last. I watched her take her last breath. And after that, so much started happening. I'm gonna have to resume later, but because I never talked about it out loud before, but that's how I drowned about my grandmother transitioning. And I had bittersweet, but I appreciate every guidance y'all sent my way. Get me out of this unnecessary. Appreciate it.